All journalistic integrity is assumed. No facts have been checked.
Local man.
This is Jack,
This is Kyra,
and this is Local Man.
Okay, so we're starting off this episode researching in Tennessee. We decided we were going to start off with the states that we both come from respectively first, and Jack is from Tennessee. So you might have more input on this than me because, you're on the animal husbandry and all that. You have more of a background in that than me. But local men at cattle sale. A number of Nashville men attended a sale of Jersey cattle at Coopersburg, Pennsylvania on Tuesday. I think that's so funny that they're reporting like just people who are here going to other
Right,
places that aren't here
right.
to do things that it's so funny to me that anyone would care. It's kind of reminds me of Facebook. But the party included Dr. W.G. Ewing, Percy Brown, George Campbell, and Sam N. Warren. Record prices were broken at the sale. Noble of Oakland's a 6-year-old bull whose dam is owned by W.S. Williams near Nashville, bringing in $15,000 for one 6-year-old bull.
What?
Could you enlighten to me possibly as to how a 6-year-old bull would be worth $15,000
What
in
year is it?
let's see, 1910?
Damn.
Why?
Maybe there was just like no other Jersey cows in like all of Tennessee.
What
It's a
is it?
milk cow.
It's a milk cow. What color is it?
The
Is it
Jersey
brown?
it's like it's the one on the Mayfield container. It is like a brown
I
cow,
thought so, like those brown kind of downy fur looking
something
kind of
like that.
cows.
I think they got horns.
Cute. Well, that's really
So
interesting. Why fifteen thousand
maybe
dollars?
maybe just babies were wilting away in Tennessee because there was just no dairy cattle at all, and this guy was like bringing the railroad through the state with that cow. Well, this is okay. Oh, it's okay. This is from July 27th, 1920. Knoxville, Tennessee, on July 27th. I'll take the bonds. The speaker was H.B. Alexander, representing Caldwell and Company of Nashville. The scene was Dandridge, where today $185,000 of good road bonds were being sold. The speaker had just stepped out of an airplane in which he had made a hurried trip from Chattanooga, where he missed his train. This perhaps was the first time an airplane had landed in Jefferson County, and shows in a vivid manner the place of the airplane in the commercial world. Mr. Alexander had started from Nashville to Dandridge to represent his company, and had gotten as far as Chattanooga, where he missed his train. Going out to the aviation field there, Mr. Alexander bargained with a pilot to take him to Dandridge, and the plane soon was winding itself across the mountains of East Tennessee, a race against time. I've been to Dandridge, and that's the last exciting thing that happened
I think it's just, it really says a lot. Either there was not a lot going on, or news wasn't widespread enough to be sensationalized. I don't know, maybe the literacy rate was too low for them to care.
there.
You know what I mean?
And they're not saying like where he said, "I'll take the bonds." Like, did he buy
It's,
it from the radio of
it,
the
I
plane?
don't know. It made it seem like to me that he was like literally stepping off of the plane.
And
I don't know.
like they landed in the damn auction field or whatever the hell it is. Let's
The
see.
speaker had just stepped out of an airplane. I don't know. It doesn't really give a
So
lot of
that it
context.
doesn't. That,
Just the
it's like,
silence
I
is
mean,
so
it sounds
funny.
like they're making it out like local man buys bonds by airplane, but he really probably just, and see, this is going back to
$185,000 in 1927
mm,
or 1920. 1920. Where are all these like insane amounts of money for bulls and bonds? Like what kind of bond? A railroad bond?
road bonds for the Milk
Road
Highway
bond. Oh, what's
to
a
get
bond really?
to get all
What's
those
a bond?
Jersey cows. Like where you buy something and then in so many years the whoever issued the bond says they'll pay you back this amount, which is usually like double the bond price or something. You buy a $50 bond for $25. In 10 years, it's worth $50 type
Are you
thing.
like funding something for
Yeah, you're
someone?
funding like the new Titan Stadium will be part bond sale
Oh.
and stuff like that. Road projects, getting a
Oh, okay.
getting a real pretty
Well,
Jersey
because
Bull.
when my grandma was just telling me about, the sale of our cousin's estate, and she was saying he had like $500,000 in bonds.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really know what that means, because I'm in my 20s. You guys, if you didn't know, Jack is older than me. I'm in my 20s. So it's interesting the things I don't know. I ask him constantly. I'm like, what does this mean? And he always knows. So
Well,
that's great.
so that's just a good example of how nothing was happening in Jefferson County in 1920, and that's probably front page news.
Man, ain't that something? Actually, like extra extra.
Yes.
Read all about it. Local manager, World's End, 1981. John M. Biggs says Mother Shipton's prophecy was changed by English newspaperman. She meant 1981, not 1881. I actually know about Mother Shipton. I have previous knowledge of that. She was like a some kind of oracle woman, like some, fabled oracle who lived in a cave and had these prophecies. And some people, like made conspiracies around it that she even referenced like COVID. Um, just some, you know, religious fanatic, and we're not anti any religion, but it's very interesting. This stuff has been going on for so long. So the world will come to an end in 1981 is a firm belief of John M. Biggs, who lives near Lenox Depot in
Oh,
Nashville.
sure he does.
This doesn't say a year either. He defends his belief in 26 verses of Miltonic poetry. What's
Oh,
Miltonic poetry?
let me get you thrown out of church.
According to the modern prophet, divine truth, in quotes, will begin in 1960, and 21 years later, the fireworks will start. Mr. Higgs contends that the famous Mother Shipton, whose prophecy, the world to an end shall come in 1881, was deliberately misquoted by an English newspaperman. And what she really meant was that the world would be coming to an end in 1981, a slight mistake of 100 years. Mr. Biggs admits that he submits the exact dates to Tennessee and American with the fear of trembling, although the dates he says have been carefully verified by the Bible. All right, yeah, here we go. And the signs in the heavens, okay? If people get interested and begin to read their Bibles, they'll find that these dates are actually so and get away or quit their meanness in time to escape. This guy just sounds really scorned, honestly, and like, wow, how contemporary this is. It's like just some guy reading into conspiracies who sounds kind of like a lonely
Mm-hmm.
weirdo
Yep.
coming out and telling everyone, this is
He's
seeming.
probably the president of the Jesus Christ Savings and Loan.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Christ saves credit union.
I hear their usury rates are through the floor.
That's so funny, dude. So with their quit their meanness, is the author prefaces his warning of impending doom, but he does not explain where the people will get to when they get away. Isn't that always the Mormons say that you get your own planet when you die? And I
Uh,
think there's some, and this is loosely quoted by some my evangelical friend. I've never researched Mormonism really, but said that like maybe Jesus got his own planet and it was Earth.
mm,
I've heard that before. But anyways, all this conspiracy stuff always makes me think about that, like how weird religious crossovers are.
right.
It's like the Marvel universe.
Hmm.
If John M. Biggs goes on a whole, what do you call that? Like the Unabomber. When you find their writings, what do they call those?
A
A
manifesto.
manifesto. It's a manifesto of John M. Biggs. Homeboy goes off for quite a ways. Yeah, that guy's just pretty much crazy. Well, I gotta say, on my drive down here from Indiana, given the billboards of Jesus saves, like we made that joke that Indiana just forgot to cross our T because Indiana is just a flat
That's
Tennessee,
right.
and that's all the way. The similar billboards is like, well, I still believe that there are these religious conspiracies, like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, these billboards are so crazy. They're still talking about Hillary Clinton on billboards down here.
We're all a local man somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the biggest local man of Georgia.
of 1915, April 18th, 1915, local man killed while hunting work. A report of the fatal injury of Sidney Gray of 1625 Nassau Street, this city in Louisville, Friday, has been announced by the Registration Bureau for the Unemployed. Mr. Gray had left the city in search of employment and is thought to have been killed by falling from a freight train near
Oh
Louisville.
my gosh.
He was 30 years old, leaves a widow and two children. The only identification papers found on him was a membership card to the Davidson County Socialist Party.
What? Socialist Party.
The funeral will be held from the undertaking parlors of Combs and Davis. You better get Combs and Davis on a watch list. They're obviously communists.
Oh
At
my
2 o'clock
gosh.
this afternoon, with burial at Mount Olivet Cemetery, a classic cemetery, the original green space of Nashville, Tennessee.
Huh.
The show, to show what an opportunity there is. Oh, this is another
For
story.
educated. Oh, is it cutting off?
It's just like a separate story with no header.
Okay, yeah, something about Christian Chinese teacher. Wow. So I mean, it said that he
He
fell
left.
from a freight
Yeah, so he
train.
left Nashville and went to Louisville and fell off the train and died there. And
How did he
only
fall
had
off the
because in
train?
Davidson County is Nashville, and he had his Davidson County Socialist
Yeah, what's up?
card.
Oh, that sounds like so convenient that some socialist died
Was
from
pushed
falling
from
off
a
was
train.
pushed from a freight
Yeah,
train.
somebody needs to get an unsolved mystery
1915.
podcast all over this.
Yeah, I believe that.
This is not our wheelhouse, but this is like just uncovering, who pushed, who had the motivation. Obviously, I can tell you who had the motivation. That's Combs and Davis because they sell a funeral at a reasonable rate.
I mean, the name of Sidney Gray for someone from 1915 sounds like a communist spy.
It does.
Not that I know anything about what a communist spy would sound like, but
Right.
it seems like an odd out of time name. If you
Right.
ask Sydney.
And then what about them just throwing out his straight up home address on a thing calling him also a communist?
Yeah, that's pretty, and also that he has
He
a
has a
wife and
wife and
two
two children. Like,
children.
so when you're driving by there, be on
Go
the
egg the
lookout.
commies. Oh God,
Oh,
that's
that's
intense.
terrible.
It's pretty brutal, man.
Welcome to Nashville.
Oh, welcome to Nashville, everyone. How funny. Well, to follow up that fatal train story, Final Destination. Local man killed in train wreck, and this was from March 4th, 1916. Fireman Robert T. Johnson crushed in derailment
Damn.
at Henderson, Kentucky. So, Robert T. Johnson, age 30, wow, residing again with the full address. So, just doxing these fools out in the open. Residing at 731 Wedgwood Avenue. A fireman on the Dixie Flyer was instantly killed shortly after 10 o'clock Friday night when his engine left the track while his train engine, okay. Left the track while slowing down in Henderson, Kentucky railroad yards. Okay, so geez, it kind of sounds like that Ohio train derailment, just that brake failure that just happened.
Don't try to leave Tennessee on a train.
My God, right? Mr. Johnson, in an effort, if the trains were bad then, you can only imagine they don't fix anything. They don't give anyone any time off
Right.
to fix anything. So I mean, it's the same brake failures that were happening 100 years ago, and people are still dying of this. Only
Yeah.
they weren't hauling the chemicals back then because they didn't have the technology for the chemicals.
Right.
And to that I say, the consequences of the Industrial Revolution.
Bring back molasses.
Bring back molasses. Oh my God. All right,
I'll
so
run my whole house on wellhead oil.
wellhead oil.
You can spill that all over the place. Nobody has to leave their home.
That's great. In an effort to save Mr. Johnson, in an effort to save his life, leaped from the cab window, fell under the engine, and was crushed to death.
Oh man.
Not until the wrecker arrived from Indiana. Oh, I'm from Indiana. After midnight was his body removed. Oh my
Mm.
gosh. So they thought, I don't know. Wow. So it says that the train derailed, but doesn't say anything else about any other casualties. So he bugged out, jumped out of the window, and got crushed to death.
It was derailing when he jumped out of the
Yes.
window.
It's in an
Goodness.
effort to save his life, but it doesn't say anything else about anyone else
It
dying.
fell.
Just sit tight, y'all. Arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. I remember being on that Dollywood train and being slightly nervous.
I always just think about like what if my life comes down to just like a split second decision? I'm so terrible at making split second decisions. Ugh,
How sad.
it's sad.
God was
It was there all night because they had to get something down there to pick a damn train up off
apparently it was from Memphis. That's crazy.
you. Don't leave Tennessee on a
Yeah,
train, folks.
absolutely not.
That is what we're saying. You go out with proper channels,
Yeah, seriously, these
or you're
trains are
gonna not make your
people are
final
falling all
your
off of these
destination.
trains.
Yes. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Brother of local man. Yeah, read that one. That's great.
There's no details of the death.
He will be regretted by. What is that wording?
I hate to see you go.
Hate to see you go.
Oh. March 29th, 1922. Officers wound local man in Williamson. Franklin, Tennessee, March 28th. Thaxton Parrish of Nashville was shot in the shoulder late yesterday on the Hillsborough Pike near Ray's Bridge by special officers when he fled after his car was halted in a search for contraband liquor. Parrish and two companions swam the Big Harpeth River after the former was found. No, was wounded.
Wounded. Wow.
Oh,
So he
okay.
swam a whole river
So
after he got shot?
let's
His name
see.
is Thaxton. That sounds like a dude who'd be swimming through a river after he
Yeah,
gets shot.
and running whiskey
For
in the
liquor.
20s. In search of the neighborhood of the shooting, later Parrish and a man by the name of Burt Rutledge
What a great
were
name.
captured. The third party escaped. Parrish was sent to a Nashville hospital while Rutledge was placed under a $1,500 bond by local authorities. A search of the automobile revealed several gallons of whiskey. It is said the car and the liquor are being held here.
Strange. So, I mean, this is during Prohibition, right?
Mhm.
That's why, yeah, the
Yeah,
whiskey running. Well, that's funny. I mean, my grandparents, my great grandparents, my grandma's parents were run out of Kentucky for moonshining. You
right.
know, they'd been, notorious for that. And then they were basically told my grandma was the only one born in Indiana. She's the youngest because they told them they had to leave Kentucky or go to jail, like be
Right.
in prison. They could not be in Kentucky anymore. So I wonder if Saxton Parish had the same kind of reputation.
I wonder. Well, Uncle Jesse built the General Lee to run on ethanol. And that way, when the law got after him, he just ran it out of gas.
Oh my gosh,
Isn't that
that's
awesome?
so great. That's wonderful. Tennessee, 3-star state.
Yep, 3-star state.
3-star
I agree.
state.
I give it about 3 stars.
Oh my gosh. Well, what a name then, Thaxton Parish.
Took one in the shoulder by special officers.
Man, and that's from March 29th,
Oh, special
1922.
officers. I bet that was some type of, squad
They've been watching
for bootlegging
Prohibition.
and prohibition
Yeah.
type shit. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
Uh,
no wonder all the obscure local man and the crimes we've been seeing too. That really explains it because people were not able to be at home drunk and were getting up to no
yeah,
good in the
fucking,
streets of
and
Nashville.
fucking apparently like falling off trains, some drunk asleep on the tracks caused a
Everyone
derailment.
was having withdrawal.
Everything was,
Everyone was just shaking on the freight
yeah,
train, falling
yeah,
off it.
yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, special officers.
Special
Were they just told that they were special after they shot that guy and they got him?
Right, and the search for contraband, that's got to be, I mean, how long have they been doing that? That's 1922. That's a 1922 car. That's like a thing that looks like a buggy with
A
an
Model
engine on
T.
it. Yeah, that's not like anything with like a,
You'll never catch me
big
alive.
ass trunk or something,
Yeah, well, people were smaller, so they could fit bigger bottles of whiskey between them.
I bet they were 1 gallon apple cider jugs or
They
something
were
real
like
classy like that.
spittoons.
Yeah.
One loaded here.
All right.
Strychnine dose results fatally to local man. Again, the wording is
Imagine.
so interesting. My lord. This is from March 14th, 1921. Edward Hassel, 21, a tile and marble setter.
Mm,
I just set a
it's
bunch of
very
tile in our house
specific.
that we built.
Right.
Yeah, died at City Hospital yesterday afternoon at about 6:30 o'clock. 6:30 o'clock. What kind of wording is that?
Yeah,
Uh,
I got they're trying to get him work still. They're like, Tyler Marble guy here. We hear he was good.
6:30 o'clock. That's what interesting. The cause of his death has been given by the hospital physicians as strychnine poisoning.
Ugh.
Hospital authorities say that it was found on the young man's person a 2-gram bottle labeled strychnine powder. Why? What would someone be using strychnine for? What is strychnine? I know it's some kind of, it'll kill you. I know that. I don't know if it's just like cyanide. Does it have any other use other than killing people real easily and fast? I'm not sure. But whether the strychnine was taken with suicidal intent or by mistake, I don't. How could you mistakenly take something that says it is labeled strychnine? This stinks. It's not been determined by official investigation. I bet not. With Hassel would not say that any relations other than agreeable ones existed between the dead man and his wife. Brother asserted that he did not believe the poison was taken with suicidal intent. Evidently, he clings to the belief that if strychnine had been taken, it was through mistake. This sounds like it was set up to
Golly,
me.
these like a couple of these have sounded like murders that just weren't from the get-go even thought they were murders.
Oh, get this. It
This guy
says,
like ingested a bunch of
yeah,
strychnine by
check. Hassel was at the home of a sister when he was stricken.
a
Strychnine, stricken boy. The wife of Edward Hassel could not be seen, having become prostrated when she learned of the death of her husband and
whoa.
requiring the services of a physician.
Oh man, she fell out.
She fell out. Yeah, that's rough.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
according to the story given out at the hospital, Hassel, I'm going to hear from his sister. Hassel was unconscious when the ambulance arrived and having received a hurried call to come to 1228 3rd Avenue. They keep giving doxing these
Right?
people.
These yeah,
The
like
home of the
oh maybe you
sister.
still got some more of that strychnine on the shelf
Oh,
there.
here, and they're doxing their sister. The home of the sister, Miss Charles Ryan. The relative said at the time they did not know what was the matter with the guy, right? He was rushed to the hospital, dying about 10 minutes after he was there.
On that who, what, when, where, how, or whatever, they really focus on the where, don't they?
Yeah. And I said he died about 30 minutes after he took it. So it took him 10 minutes to get him to the hospital from where he was at. So within 30 minutes, he was dead.
Did
But why? I
somebody
don't understand. I need more context.
somebody poured that down his throat or
And then put
something?
it so there was no
Mhm,
DNA fingerprint.
mhm.
Like I
I
I
mean,
don't know.
one time, a friend at a party got into the trunk of a car, and there was a gallon of water, and there was a gallon of windshield washer fluid, and it was dark. It was out in a field, and he grabbed the windshield washer fluid and took a few big chugs, and then, I guess like, when you're really drunk, sometimes your taste buds aren't like all there, and it took him a second to realize he was drinking windshield washer fluid, but I mean, I guess something like that
Did
could
he
have
die?
happened. No, and no. Uh, but I mean, but how did this guy? I'm saying, how did this guy accidentally ingest enough strychnine to kill himself? Somebody held him down and poured it in his throat or something.
I'm gonna guess his
I guess
sister.
he would have been saying stuff though, you'd think, unless he was just like foaming at the mouth
He
and
was
shit.
stricken, they
What if?
said. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
unconscious when
Oh,
they
he's
rolled
unconscious. Yeah,
up.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man, totally killed. It's another murder.
You totally
The guy
killed.
was so totally
How
killed.
interesting. They were really so let me
Like,
get this right. At
who's the
this point in time, you couldn't have access to alcohol,
right?
but you could have an entire vial of strychnine.
Strychnine. Yep, totally. Yeah, you
A
could give
21-year-old has a vial of strychnine. I'm pretty sure that you can purchase like arsenic on eBay and like Amazon because it's like a chemical compound.
right.
So I mean, the apothecaries were really something else back then too. I mean, you could just like roll up and buy cocaine. I think maybe not in 1920, whatever, but
Yeah,
not too far ago. It's not too far off. I'm
it's
gonna have to do
crazy.
more research into strychnine because of this.
Yeah, I don't even know how you'd spell strychnine. Maybe he looked at it and was like, "What does that
Well, if
say?"
I ever die under serious circumstances, and we don't want you to be first 48ed and
Yes.
convict you because you would never murder
So
me,
you can't
you
even
should
spell
just have a
strychnine.
vial of strychnine and put it in my pocket, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Well, obviously she killed
Yeah.
herself.
Right. Right.
Obviously."
Local man gets big movie program. March 21st, 1915. Local man gets big movie program. William Farnham and Betty Nansen have, it is said, abandoned permanently the speaking for the silent drama.
Hmm.
William Fox, president of the Fox Film Corporation of New York, has landed William Farnham to appear in famous stage productions to be picturized. Mr. Farnham's salary is said to be $100,000 per annum. Mr. Farnham is one of the most popular drama actors in America. He is the creator of Ben-Hur.
Huh.
He and his entire company were in Augusta, Georgia recently, making his latest play, The New Governor, as the play is based on an actual occurrence shortly after the Civil War at Augusta. The entire Georgia militia appear in the play at a race riot scene. Betty Nansen, who is the world's greatest tragedian actress,
Huh.
has also signed up a contract with the Fox Film Corporation at a salary of $100,000 and expenses per annum. So either Betty is like freaking shrewd, like a shrewd wheeler dealer, or they just paid men and women equally.
Like I've never heard of these people before.
I haven't either. Let's see, and so she got the expenses too, plus the hundred.
Right.
So
For a silent movie?
I think,
Plays?
yeah, I think.
Wow.
Okay, and so it says, but it is said the $100,000 in her expenses would not have brought her over to this country if Europe didn't have her royal families at war.
Wow.
Oh, Miss
Betty
Nansen.
Nansen is foreign?
Right, she's foreign.
That doesn't sound.
Miss Nansen possesses medals from the Tsar Kaiser, King George, as their favorite, and is a favorite of all the royal families in Europe. What does that even
Wow.
mean?
Well, I mean,
Miss
just that she's
Nansen's,
just really popular.
yeah, yeah. Shout out,
Yeah.
like a royal shout out. Miss Nansen's latest play in Anna Karenina,
Anna Karenina.
Karenina,
Yeah, that's like a classic
written
Russian.
by consent of Leo Tolstoy,
Yeah.
who prophesized years ago the present European conflict. Huh. Betty Nansen's husband in the play is Edward Jose, who has been Sarah Bernhardt's leading man for 10 years. He will also be remembered in Nashville as the man who played the fool in A Fool There
Oh,
Was.
wow.
How
I play the
interesting.
fool.
Yeah. Well, that's so
Huh.
how weird. And is
That is.
this is William Fox? Is this Fox?
I
Is
guess
this
it's
the
Z Fox.
is
I
that
didn't
the
realize. I
Fox?
mean, 1915 sounds right. You know, that's when they were
Yeah.
making movies. I mean, big movie program. That's
Yeah.
big movie. Fox, you know, you probably wouldn't have thought that they were around at the same time as like MGM,
Right.
like Metro Golden, whatever Meyer thing.
Hmm.
You know, I don't really think of Fox in the same sphere as like
Well, this
the
is New
Wizard of
York
Oz.
too, East Coast.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I mean, I guess it's just that William Farnham is from Nashville, and he's the fool who was, I guess.
He is.
Well, here's to you, fool.
Yeah, and way to go to what's her name?
Betty.
Betty,
Betty
for
Nansen's
getting
killing
for
it.
getting the expenses.
She's
Because I
killing
mean,
it.
think about like in 1915, you're like, you want me to move from Europe to America?
Well, she was war torn though
Got some expenses. Yeah,
at
in
that time.
war-torn Europe, come on.
Yeah, the Great War, is that what's going on there?
Everybody's probably wanting out.
Yeah.
You know, and you're trying to move all your stuff, you're
Betty
Betty Nansen
Nansen.
in
You're an
1915.
actress. You've got
You got
luggage. You've
stuff.
got Precious. You
Yeah,
know,
she got
you've
those
got hats
expenses.
inside of boxes that need to be
Also, I
moved.
would have loved to seen what she was bold enough to write off as an expense to charge
Powder puffs, body powder puffs,
Mr. William Fox as an expense. I bet William Fox went through the roof when
cold
he
cream,
saw her hat box expenditure.
her cold cream expenditure.
Oh my God. I mean, because of that salt air. It's
Yeah.
like several days, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. Salt
19,
air.
1915. Wonder how long it took you to get across the
She rolled
Atlantic
in
in
with a
1915.
blowout.
Too long not to get a bunch of, you know,
Bartle on it.
yeah, ointments, liniments,
Oh, totally. I mean, she would
creams.
have had a killer blowout though,
Hmm.
coming over the sea,
Yeah,
all that salt water in her
I
hair.
like it in my hair.
Yeah, it makes your dreads look great.
It's it's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Okay, a local man sports report. November 27th, 2022. Tennessee man becomes first to bowl perfect game backwards. It's tough to be a first in the sport of bowling. The sanctioning body has been around for 127 years, so the likelihood of striking new ground is rare. For example, William Knox of Philadelphia has the honor of shooting the first 300 in the USBC Open back in 1913 in Toledo. Jack Biondilio rolled the first televised PBA 300 in 1967, and Jeremy Sonnenfeld recorded the initial 900 series in 1997. But this first may be one of the greatest, or for some, the strangest 300 ever bowled. Last Saturday, Jim Cripps of Pleasant View, Tennessee, became the first bowler to throw a sanctioned 300 bowling backward. That's not a typo. He shot 300 facing the wrong way. Well, that is just crazy.
I mean, how do you even, is that just something you train for? Like, imagine you go to a bowling alley and you just go in there and you're with your kid and this guy's just ripping them
Yeah,
backwards.
he's a 160, 180 bowler. He's got a terrible handicap forward, but he has figured out some way of just the bowling is so much about like consistency, and he is just like consistent as hell backwards or something. I wonder if like one night he was just bowling terribly and he was just like, I'm gonna turn around and throw it between my legs, and he got a strike, and then it just started something,
I mean, I'm a 2 foot driver,
We need to
so,
know more. Yeah, right.
everyone has
Whatever
their weird
works,
thing,
whatever
whatever
works.
works, man, whatever gets you there,
We need
whatever,
more. We need more backstory on that one. Why did this
definitely.
man feel compelled to turn around? Did he just stumble, like have a flat tire out in front of a bowling alley and just walk into one, not even knowing what the sport was, and just assume that you, like, maybe he's like a former center or long snapper from his high
Maybe.
school football team, and he was just like, oh, you probably bend down and then like throw it between your legs backwards, and then he was just wearing it out. So like the bowling alley owner just didn't say anything. He was like, damn,
Maybe
just let it go.
he's just from Australia.
Oh
Like
yeah,
toilets flush backwards there.
yeah, right, right.
I found this one funny because I used to live in Carsville when I was a little girl. Okay, 1995. In June, the owner of the only adult bookstore in Clarksville
Hmm.
in a federal court to overturn a recently passed city ordinance. The city council intended to prohibit operators of such a store from engaging in sex on the premises, but apparently left out the words on the premises, thus ostensibly prohibiting the owner and his employees from having sex anywhere.
Wow.
So, isn't the wording of the ordinance? They're like, you guys are banished from
Wow.
fucking anywhere.
Right. Got to read the fine print.
Seriously. Do you have a good local man story? Share it with us at localmanshow@gmail.com, and we may include it in a future episode.